This is the Mazz and Bads Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.
Just drinking a little kale juice. Is that it? That's what you got going on here?
It's coffee. The cup is just tinted green. So
Don't lie to me.
Looks...
You look like one of those guys that would hit one of those health trends. I got kale and spinach in a blender with my carrot juice, my homemade V8.
Oh, fuck no.
Dude, it's all I need in life, right there. You want a good
Celsius.
breakfast, good energy? Sponsor us, damn it!
Anybody, please.
I'm just saying. I mean, it is my favorite energy drink, but it doesn't have to be.
Somebody give us some money so I can pay someone to start doing social media clips during the week.
Well, what's it called? That cap cut thing's been working really well, right?
Yeah, it works good.
Yeah.
It's just
you know.
sometimes it's just tough when the two guys like us with our schedule, it's tough to sit down and record this podcast on a weekly basis. It's tough to edit it out, put it out, and then also to promote it with little social media clips or like making a little graphic or two. You know what? Maybe that's something I'll work on this week. I'll do like a pick'ems graphic of like the schedule of the weekend and then which games we chose, obviously either one way or the other.
You can show everybody that I'm in the lead by, 4 games now?
Let me take a look.
Where we at?
I
know the Raiders somehow worked out.
So you went 11-5 this past weekend. I went 9-7. You were up by 2 games already, and you gained another 2. So now I'm down by four games. You are 42-22 on the season. I'm 38-26.
Listen, those are not bad records at all. How frustrated are you right now that it didn't fall your way? And the 2 teams that got the job done were the Tennessee Titans and the depleted Las Vegas Raiders.
All right, so the Raiders, shout out Antonio Pierce, I guess, because they made some business decisions on some of the players, like he said last week, and apparently they needed some guys who were locked in because they were without Max Crosby, without Devontae Adams. I believe Brock Bowers didn't play, their rookie tight end, first-round pick, and somehow the Cleveland Browns still lost.
They're just not good.
I think you can kind of stick a fork in the Browns season almost at this point. I mean, Nick Chubb's going to come back at some point. Hopefully they're going to get both tackles back at some point. But right now, this doesn't even look like a football team.
Dude,
I'll be real.
I think I know what the biggest problem is, to be honest with you, too.
Huh?
It's the offensive line. We could sit here and we could talk about quarterback play, but let's not act like when they play actual defenses that Deshaun's not running for his life. I still think they could use a new quarterback, but I think first and foremost, I'm not thinking about quarterback in the draft. I'm thinking about who can we get in here, maybe pull a Jets, right? Go get some veterans on to beef up this line, because I've said it once, I've said it before, I will say it to the day I die. The cornerstone of every team is your offensive line. You can have a subpar quarterback. You can have a subpar running back. You can even have subpar wide receivers. If you can give the guy time to throw, magic can happen.
So you're not wrong, but the problem is they have 2 really good tackles that just haven't played yet this year. Jedrick Wills just signed a massive extension this past offseason. Jack Conklin's one of the better right tackles in football. They just both haven't been healthy. So either what you got to do is either just hope and pray where these guys are going to come back at some point, or, yeah, Mazz, like you said, you take the Jets route, you cut bait with these guys in the offseason, you sign some veterans to start in their place, and then you draft, because that's the only real way to long-term build an offensive line is to build it through the draft.
No, here's my problem, right? The best ability is what, Charlito? Availability, all right? So I don't care if I locked you up on these contracts. If you're not out on the field for me, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't helping the cause, So, I'm not saying that necessarily you got to cut bait, but I'm saying is when you come back, if it don't look different, yeah, I'm probably thinking about it. And sometimes a change of scenery can change a guy's entire career. I mean, look at your boy over in Philly, Mekhi Becton.
He's playing okay. They moved him to guard, So.
He looks better in Philly than he ever did with the New York Jets, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's an all-star, he's going to be a Pro Bowl lineman, but he's getting the job done. I mean, Saquon was leading the league in rushing up until that Bills game.
Yeah.
For the Ravens.
Well, The other thing is the Jets never tried him at guard, so maybe that's just what they had to do. They said to slide him over. He was always a left tackle or right tackle, but
Well, you look at the size of him. I mean, I get it.
yeah.
Guy's a beast among men.
Anyway, the other team that screwed me over was the Miami Dolphins. I don't know how I talked myself into picking these guys because I just figured after the week of disrespect that they got from that Seattle debacle where they put up 3 points and Skylar Thompson looked like absolute crap. And then they're coming home to a winless Tennessee Titans team that's facing a quarterback in Will Levis who turns the ball over like it's his job. And they still can only put up, 12 points of offense? And that the touchdown came in garbage time. Even Snoop Huntley couldn't get the ball moving for the Dolphins. And, Mazz, I don't know if you saw some of those videos from last night. I turned the game off after, midway through the third quarter just because the Seattle-Detroit game was really good, and I did not feel like wasting any more of my brain energy watching these two teams go at it. Mike McDaniel and Tyreek Hill looked two sides of the same coin of a bad football team. Mike McDaniel was staring from the 50-yard line across the field like he had the 50-yard stare, 100-yard stare. You know that meme I'm talking about, like the
Yep.
World War I shell-shocked veteran where he's just like, and then Tyreek's pacing on the sideline, screaming at his guys to wake up. The Dolphins look checked out to me, man. I didn't see an iota of effort last night in that game. It just seemed like once Tua went down, they were like, all right, I guess we're gonna mail it in until he comes back, which isn't gonna be for another 2 more weeks at least at the minimum because he's on injured reserve. I don't know, man.
I mean, would you not look shell shocked too if Will Levis got benched and it was Mason Rudolph who beat you?
Mason Rudolph looked better than Will Levis. He didn't turn the ball
Sure.
over. They were scoring
He didn't
points.
didn't look great. He went
Really?
9 of 17, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But the fact
but
of the matter is,
I think that's what the Titans would prefer over Levis's 150 yards, touchdown, 2 picks, and a fumble. You know what I mean?
Listen, they're both not good. That's just what it comes down to. Like, I wish I could sit here and tell you that Will Levis is gonna turn the page. I wish I could sit here and tell you that I even like Mason Rudolph and that I want to give him all the credit for stepping up. Fact of the matter is, quarterback situation is not great in Tennessee.
I can't believe we started this show with the Cleveland Browns and the Miami Dolphins. Are you kidding me right now? There was so much better football from this weekend, and we started with 2 crappiest teams, Mazz.
Well, they literally were the games that decided our pick'ems. That's why we started there. But let's get into it. Let's go to New York, where no team scored a touchdown this past week. Giants couldn't get one against my Cowboys. The Jets somehow, some way, find a way to lose their game. Let's start with the Jets, buddy. Who are you blaming most for that loss?
Oh, it's easy. Robert Saleh.
Okay.
Robert Saleh has this game. He's been the coach of the Jets since 2021. I've seen this game at least 3 times a year from him. It's coming off a win. You had an extra 3 days to prepare because you played on Thursday last week. You're playing a rookie quarterback, a team that flew from Denver to Tampa Bay to West Virginia to stay for the week, and then to New York. And they hoodwinked you. They punked you in your own stadium. You have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. You beat these guys the last 2 years in Denver with Zach Wilson at QB. And you can't find a way to beat the Broncos at home. And I don't want to hear about the weather because the Broncos had to play in that weather too. There's no excuse there. And it's just an absolute no-show on the part of the Jets. 13 penalties, disgusting. I said Robert Saleh, I'm bundling Nathaniel Hackett in there because the fact that he's still on that coaching staff is Robert Saleh's fault. He could have fired him after last season. I understand how tight him and Rodgers are, but at this point, you got to say, hold on a second. What are we doing here, Nate? Why are we running Breece Hall on 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal when you have the human wrecking ball, Braylon Allen, on the sideline who is going to get you a yard, is averaging 5 yards a carry on the season so far. You're bringing in a defensive tackle, Solomon Thomas, and throwing him a goal line fade instead of running the ball with Braylon Allen. The Jets got to take a good long look in the mirror and figure out what kind of team they're going to be because they have Super Bowl aspirations and they don't even look like a Super Bowl team right now. This team isn't going to beat Kansas City, Buffalo, or Baltimore in the playoffs. you gotta change it up. You gotta adapt. You gotta adjust. The offensive line did not look great. I know that they lost the right tackle, Morgan Moses. Tyron Smith had a few false starts, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough for the team you think you are, for the team you're trying to be. And if this team was any serious at all, Nate Hackett would have been fired on Monday.
I love the take. I don't think you're wrong at all, to be completely honest with you. Here's the thing, too. I did notice Bo Nix not sacked a single time in that game. Aaron Rodgers going down 6 times. Like, yeah, that's Swiss cheese. Rodgers didn't look great, too. A couple of those balls. I know it was raining.
He missed a few throws, yeah, for sure.
And it looked from, like, a lack of arm power. Like, I know that ball is heavy with, like, the rain with it, but I don't know. I looked at that, and I was like, oh, that's, like, the first time I really ever saw him show, like, signs of, like, the aging, maybe. But nonetheless, I can't put it completely on him. Like, it was all right. I do think play calling is absolutely criminal when it comes to the Jets. They have all this talent all over the place on offense, and I still feel like they have not found a way to utilize all of it outside of one game against the Patriots this year. You know, so, and it's not like Rodgers isn't known for spreading the love and getting different guys involved, right? So I don't know what the Jets are thinking. I do think Robert Saleh needs to make a change somewhere because he, right now, top 3 candidate for me to lose his job.
For sure. There is no excuse this year for, even with injuries, with anything, if they don't make the playoffs, he is gone. Even if they do make the playoffs and they have a shit showing in the wild card round or they get bounced early, he should be gone. I'm sorry, but I have no faith in this guy that he's ever going to coach me to a Super Bowl. None whatsoever. I've seen enough.
Yeah, no, I definitely can't blame you. And then looking out on the other side, right, the Giants, I'm going to be honest with you, they didn't look horrible.
They didn't score touchdowns.
No, they didn't. But Daniel Jones, I mean, once again, it wasn't the worst showing I've ever seen from him. A lot, low balls, high balls, it is what it is. There were some drop passes, though, right? I also think that the Cowboys just legitimately got lucky. They didn't look good.
I mean, like what specifically made them lucky to you?
I think the fact that defense not giving up a touchdown was pure luck. The way that they played that game, horrible. There was barely any pressure on Daniel Jones, I felt like. Even the one interception that Jones had, it came at the last second. He threw up a prayer. Like, their defense was, although it wasn't over like 100 yards, I felt like every time that the Giants needed a play to go their way, like in crucial moments where, like, you know where the ball is going, they still couldn't stop it. Right? And it just, they couldn't find the end zone. They had to settle for a lot of field goals on the Giants side. Once again, Dak had a decent outing, right? CeeDee Lamb decided that I'm going to score a touchdown finally and get involved in the offense. That's the only thing that started working was CD and a tight end. Running game still doesn't look good. The Cowboys look like they're going absolutely nowhere. They got 10 days to prepare for Pittsburgh, and I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. I think I'm taking Pittsburgh this week.
Wow.
Yeah, I have no faith.
You haven't picked against the Cowboys yet this year.
Well, I might. I haven't fully invested in it, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't trust this team right now. We talk about head coaches that are being firing candidates. I already said that Robert Saleh is on that list. He's number 2 for me. 3rd is Mike McCarthy. Number 1 has to be Doug Peterson, personally. You know, so I think those guys need showings this week to just tell their owners of, hey man, I can do this. I can be the guy that you're looking to lead these organizations, because 2 out of those 3 teams can legitimately make something happen. But however, all 3 of those teams, right? You had Shad Khan come out and say this is the greatest Jaguars team ever assembled, and they're looking horrible. You have Jerry Jones saying we're going all in this offseason. He thinks that he can compete at the highest level. His team clearly cannot, and coaching has not been helping that. And then you look at the Jets. I mean, is there a team with a better roster than the Jets to make a run all the way? They absolutely have Super Bowl aspirations, and every organization is falling short, and they're all lacking discipline everywhere. That's a head coaching problem.
I didn't think the Cowboys looked that bad Thursday night. I wouldn't call it luck. I mean, I think Mike Zimmer had a good game plan. It was bend but don't break. You know, we'll let him get down the field, but don't let him get in the end zone.
I want him gone.
Okay, fair enough.
I got Rex Ryan talking smack, saying I could fix this defense, but you bums didn't want to pay me.
Daniel Jones, I know the stats look good because he had a lot of yards, because they threw it almost 40 times, and it was because they couldn't run the ball. The Cowboys held them to sub 30 rushing yards as a team, which is pretty impressive with the defensive line that they have, especially with the injuries with DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. But yeah, I mean, Malik Neighbors torched the Cowboys, but other than that, I feel like the game plan was to just try and take as much away in the passing game as you can and make Daniel Jones throw it downfield. He didn't turn the ball over. He should have had a pick that was dropped by he had two passes that should have been picked off that were dropped by Cowboys. And if not for those, we'd be talking about how bad of a game Daniel Jones had. But for me with the Giants, I still don't understand how they didn't take any chances in that game, especially when they did get inside the 10-yard line. How do you not go for it at least once on one of those fourth downs? It was like they were playing not to lose. They were playing to stay within a touchdown. It was a really weird game for me. I don't know. I thought Dak looked great though.
Yeah, no, that's the only person that, once again, another weekend, it seems like I'm running the Dak Prescott fan club over here, but another great showing coming from, a guy that's playing in an ugly football game and the only person that you can trust on your side. The reason why I have no faith in this defense, even though they didn't let up a touchdown, you knew where the ball was going to Malik Neighbors. 12 receptions, 115 yards. And if it wasn't going to him, it was going to Wan'Dale Robinson. And he looked like possibly the second best option of the week for a team. Like, good God, he was all over the place. If you started him in fantasy, congratulations. You were onto some insider information that other people have definitely been sleeping on, because that kid balled out too. 11 receptions, 71 yards. Like, yeah, dude, you'll take that every time for a guy that, quite honestly, has underperformed since he's been with this organization. How come the Giants have a second wide receiver? I have Brandon Cooks. Can't trust him.
Oh, there's always time to make some trades, right?
Dude, I'm telling you.
I think Amari Cooper's on his way out of Cleveland.
It's got to happen. It's literally, how poetic would that be, bringing back Amari Cooper?
He's coming home.
Yeah, hopefully. If not, go get Devontae Adams, please. Somebody. There's got to be disgruntled guys out there.
He's gonna be a Jet.
And speaking of disgruntled, I got a stat for you, right?
Hmm.
Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Jalen Waddle. What do they all have in common right now?
They're all stinkers in fantasy.
Yep, but what do they more particularly have in common, my friend?
None of them have scored a touchdown yet this year.
They all have a touchdown less than Jared Goff does receiving. Amon-Ra St. Brown, touchdown pass to Jared Goff last night. Detroit looked pretty good, man. That was a fun game to watch.
That was easily the better game of the two last night. Seattle got into a shootout, and they got hosed a couple times on some calls. I don't know if you remember, Mazz, the DK Metcalf 2-point conversion that it looked like he had gotten his knee down. The refs called it incomplete. They go to commercial break and come back, and they say, hey, this should have been called good. I don't know how in this day and age of the NFL that, especially this year with all the replay assists that they have, where the refs are getting phoned into saying stop the game and fix this call. How did nobody catch that? Unbelievable.
I'm pretty sure Geno Smith got horse collared on a sack that was blatant than ever. No one called it.
No, so that was Jared Goff actually, but the ruling was that a quarterback can get horse collared in the pocket. That's the rule. That's what they said last night.
Dude, that is absolutely ridiculous. You know me, I'm always for the defense, right? My bad, I mixed up Jared Goff and Geno Smith. It was late watching that game. Those West Coast games are killing me. That was the most blatant definition of a horse collar in the fact. So let me get this straight. At one point in the NFL, I could not land on a quarterback with my body weight, even though that's how I'm supposed to freaking tackle him. But I can horse collar him. Make that make sense.
In the pocket.
Dude, that's just dangerous. Like, that makes no sense. Right? You should never horse collar a guy. It's dangerous. Just let him get tackled.
Sorry, I'm adjusting my focus here.
No, you're good.
That's a little better. Yeah, it was a great game though. Detroit, Ben Johnson is one of the most creative play callers in football right now. He pulled it wasn't a Philly special, but it was a receiver to quarterback play, which I think you can always attribute that to Doug Peterson. But then the Seahawks, I liked, did some gave the Lions a taste of their own medicine with a little hook and ladder in the second quarter. Seattle is going to be a good team this year, though. I like what Mike McDonald's doing there. Geno Smith is. You could make the case that Geno's a top 5 quarterback in football right now. I know you're talking earlier about how, at the moment, Patrick Mahomes is in top 5, and there's 3 guys ahead of him. I'd put Geno up in that conversation right now for one of the best in the league. The way he's able to sling it, he threw it almost 40 times last night, and his team was still in the game. How many quarterbacks in the league right now are able to throw it that many times and keep their team within like a winning distance, I guess you want to say. You know what I mean? Like most of the time you see a quarterback throws it 50 times, it means they've been down the whole game,
Yeah. Listen, you call me crazy. I'll give you my top 5 quarterbacks right this second. All right. Number 1 without a question, Sam Darnold has been lighting the league up. The only quarterback in double-digit touchdowns. And every week he goes out there, he looks more and more exactly what the Jets thought he was going to be, a superstar. I mean, there's just perfect throw after perfect throw. It's absolutely insane. I think that's absolutely a testament to coaching. I think that the Vikings got a gem over there when it comes to game planning and just comes to building up a player's confidence and getting the best out of them. So shout out Sam Darnold, QB number 1. Yes, Geno Smith is going up there for me. I also... I want to put Joe Burrow up there, but the fact of the matter is he was not balling out until he got all his weapons back. So I can't say that he's there yet. I'm actually looking at guys who have been doing more with less. I got Brock Purdy up there because they've been plagued with injuries all over the place, and he's still putting out quality performances. I'm putting up Dak up there because, quite honestly, CD hasn't been showing up some of these weeks. Brandon Cook's not really showing up. He's been going to a tight end the entire time. Those guys definitely in the top 4, 100%. And scanning the league, dude, I mean, maybe he's not throwing... No. Lamar's right out there, but that rushing game has just been so dominant. This kid maybe not be throwing a ton of touchdown passes, but Jaden Daniels has lit the league up on fire, dude. I mean, he has Washington looking like a serious competitor right now. They literally went to Arizona, made it a home game because their fan base finally is traveling so well because they have confidence in watching their football team again. And it was a dominant display. Maybe before this week, yeah, Kyler Murray probably would have been up there for me. Josh Allen is another one. Probably could take that spot away from Dak or Jaden Daniels, but those right there, those are my top 6 guys lurking all around. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes and I'm sure Lamar Jackson are going to get back into that hunt. I know Joe Burrow is going to be making a case for it, but as of right now, those are my top 5 to 6 guys.
I don't hate it. I still think you could also factor in fuck. I just had a name on the top of my tongue and I can't remember what it was.
Jared Goff?
Yeah, God, dude, he almost had a perfect game last night, or he did. He was, what was it, 18 for 18, right?
Yeah. It's only 18 passes though.
He goes, yeah.
Yeah, it was 18 passes. Let's not act like the guy went 40 for 40.
Okay.
But it's still impressive. I mean, 18 for 18, it's no joke. But, like, they got good things working all over the place there. He's got more help than other guys. But you got to give it to him because that kid has absolutely turned his career around. And all it took was getting traded to what people thought was the way worse franchise.
Yeah, if you remember, the Rams attached 2 first-round picks to Jared Goff to get Matt Stafford. And in hindsight, I mean, at the time, it looked like a great trade for both sides because, the Rams got Matthew Stafford, the Lions got Goff, and 2 first-round picks to help kind of jumpstart that rebuild. And, I mean, the Rams got a Super Bowl out of it. The Lions remains to be seen, but getting 2 first-round picks along with your starting guy for the next 5 to 8 years, I'd say that's way, way worth it.
I think it's as fair of a trade that we could possibly see. Like, yes, best case scenario, both of these teams end up with a Super Bowl, and that would truly make it probably the fairest trade we've maybe have ever seen. But the fact of the matter is this, is that Matt Stafford was aging. The Rams at that time decided to go all in, and they were willing to bank a future on it, and it paid off for them. You look at Detroit, this is the best that a quarterback has looked for them probably ever. Even Matt Stafford, who was going through those grueling years of just him and Megatron, nothing else. Not a defense, not an offensive line, not a second option, nothing else, right? Did not look this good. Even though you got to give him credit for not retiring, because there's guys that have retired and that were in better situations prematurely. Matt Stafford stayed the course and got over to the Rams, took him to the promised land. Detroit, though, said, we're going to go bank on a future, and they literally put those picks and Jared Goff to the best use that you possibly could right now, because this team is rolling. Past 2 years, this team is rolling. And why does that happen? You get a coach that you're willing to die for.
They weren't rolling in Chicago this past weekend as the Bears took them down at home. I didn't get to watch too many of those 1 o'clock games, Matt. As I mentioned, I was at MetLife on Sunday, unfortunately, sitting in the pouring rain, watching those Jets. So any of those other 1 o'clock games you want to touch on, be my guest. I'm here for the catch up.
Here for obviously like that Rams loss, like get buying too much into it. They're so injured right now.
Yeah,
I actually think that they're gonna make a lot more noise once the second. Just getting Cooper Kupp back alone is gonna put them back into some form of contention, because the link up between him and Matt Stafford is just I generally cannot think of a better linkage between a quarterback and a wide receiver right this second in the league than when those guys are healthy.
Yeah, and then throwing throwing Puka Nacua into that mix is going to be something special to see.
Yeah. How about that Vikings-Packers game? Of course, we said Sam Darnold lighting it up. I think they brought Jordan Love back way too soon. I know he threw for 4 touchdowns, but he also threw for 3 interceptions, and I just didn't think that you had to put him out there like this. You know, especially Malik Willis was doing fine. Hadn't lost a game for them, I believe, right? And of course, you take away the one play that he came in against Philadelphia, but you can't blame him for that whole game. You just blame him for not even getting the ball off. But, I mean, why would you want to rush Jordan Love back out there? I don't understand.
I don't know if they rushed him as much as Love just wanted to be out there. I don't know if you saw, but walking into the stadium, he wore a Brett Favre jersey.
He had a Brett Favre game.
Which I think was his tribute to it was Favre was the ultimate Iron Man in his heyday. I mean, I think he has the record for most consecutive starts for a quarterback. I'm not sure if Eli broke that or not, but I think Favre is number 1 there. But if he was healthy enough to play, if he felt good enough to play, I think it's okay to stick him out there. I don't know if the 3 interceptions are necessarily from the knee, or he just was a little rusty, not playing the last 3 weeks. But if he thinks he can play, put him out there.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest. Tua thought he could play last year after serious brain damage. All right, dude. It's early on in the season. If you're winning games, I don't see why you're taking unnecessary risks. If he feels good, that's great. Let's give it one more week, champ, and let's make sure you really feel good. You know? I mean, but listen, 4 touchdowns is 4 touchdowns. But wearing the Brett Favre jersey, I mean, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 389 yards, 32 for 54. That is the most Brett Favre stat line I've ever seen in my life.
It was the Brett Favre tribute game for Jordan Love. But
only Brett Favre might have won that game.
They almost came back, though, because the Vikings were up 28-0, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
And then, it was kind of a very, very reminded me. The night before, I had just watched Alabama-Georgia, which was the same kind of game where Alabama went up big, and then Georgia came back on them, but Alabama was able to stick it out in the end. Same thing for the Vikings on the road in Green Bay. It's going to be a really good, really fun time next Sunday in London when the Vikings and the Jets play. Can't wait to get to that one in a little bit.
Did you see the 17-year-old from Bama that had 5 touchdowns?
Ryan Williams? Yeah, he's gonna be crazy, man.
Good Lord. Unfortunately, he has to play another year of college ball.
You know how old he is?
17.
17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Absurd.
Absolutely insane. There's another kid up at Ohio State that had a big day too, 4 touchdowns, multiple yards.
Those 2 guys are going to be top 5 picks in 4 years. book
Yeah,
it, man.
his name's escaping me right now. I'll get it later, but nonetheless, dude, there's like each year, guys better start balling out now because there's talent coming behind them that's ready to take the spot, man. I'm looking at you, Jalen Waddle. Help out my team. I don't care if you ain't got no quarterback. Get open.
It's just the nature
Nah,
of the
you
beast.
can't blame him.
Just the nature of the beast. How about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sticking it to the Eagles at home?
You know, I'm an
Mazz,
idiot.
You and I both picked the Eagles there.
Yep. I'm an idiot. And negate everything that I said about my top 5 quarterbacks. I did not put Baker up there. He's absolutely top 5. Absolutely top. That man balled out. Had 1 week so far where he didn't have a great week. You know? And it was kind of a trap game for them. But nonetheless, he bounces back against Philly in Tampa and absolutely dominates. Baker looked absolutely insane. I was on like a... it wasn't Red Zone. I guess Fubu TV has like a score zone kind of thing, and I was at Kiara's brother's house, and so I was watching that, but I was like seeing all like the whenever like a big play happened, they'd shoot over to it real quick and show it, and Baker was just dropping dimes left and right, man. I'll tell you, he is so fun to watch, and I absolutely love that this guy has literally saved his own career and has proved everybody, I'm a warrior. I do this. And I honestly think if they could just get better in just a couple of areas, right? If they could get that defense back to when Tom Brady was there, they might be able to make a run for it, dude. Like, he has the best duo of the last 10 years who are still balling with another chance to have 1,000-yard receivers in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I think they've already done it 4 times. This is a chance to make it 5. The way that Baker's slinging the rock, it looks like it's going to happen. Just absolutely insane. 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, 30 for 47. I mean, I know Philly's a little banged up, but they're always going to play you tough. That's an impressive performance, dude. And that guy's making football fun.
Yeah, definitely a really impressive performance from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and yeah, Mazz, they're starting to look like not just the favorite in the NFC South, but they're looking like a team to be reckoned with in the NFC as a whole, especially with how we thought the Niners would be incredibly dominant. They're facing some injuries that are not going to be short term. That Christian McCaffrey might be done for the year potentially with that Achilles tendonitis. In both his
legs.
Achilles. The NFC East, the Eagles and the Cowboys don't look as dominant as they usually do. It's going to be.
I think the Commanders are the favorite to win right now.
They are currently in first place at 3-1. But yeah, Tampa Bay, definitely a team to be reckoned with going forward.
Yeah. Speaking of injuries, any update on Anthony Richardson?
I think they said he could have come back into the game on Sunday if he wanted to. But I think he's going to be all right. He'll probably play next week.
Yeah, they trusted Joe Flacco to get that job done. Why not?
And he threw a touchdown, didn't he?
Yep. He threw 2.
No way.
Yep. He went 16 of 26, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and only got sacked twice. Not bad.
Not bad at all. And they still won.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, no. I mean, it just be Pittsburgh was coming back, dude, and there's like a controversy going on right now that like you're hearing. Should the Steelers switch over to Russell Wilson? I don't think so right now. I think Justin Fields doing just fine, and I think you got to keep on riding with that.
You can't change it now. You have to keep riding the hot hand because Fields is playing good football. I know you kind of pushed back on me on this a few weeks ago. I don't think I ever saw him play the way he's playing now like he did in Chicago. I'll be 100% honest with you.
I just saw him had that playmaker ability. Like, kid was running for his life in Chicago, and now you get with Mike Tomlin. This is a guy, he's a known winner, 2-time Super Bowl champion, never had a losing record. I mean, there's just confidence in there. Everybody was like, getting, Arthur Smith in there. I keep on getting him and Matt Canada. Matt Canada was the guy that was there, that was horrible, and finally out the door, right? Everybody's like, is Arthur Smith going to be able to do anything? Because he did nothing with Atlanta. But the fact of the matter is, he did not have a good quarterback at all. And everybody that was a good playmaker was within like their first or second year of playing in the NFL, for crying out loud. Kyle Pitts, still not doing nothing. Drake London, you had question marks around him. Bijan was phenomenal. But other than that, I mean, what else were they really working with? So,
I think what you just listed was a lot to work with, if I'm being totally honest with you.
dude, Kyle Pitts did not look good
and
until
a really good offensive line. The same offensive line they have now, they had last year.
and they had a horrible quarterback.
Yes, that was the problem.
And it's got to be. I mean, Justin Fields is not working with Moore right now for Pittsburgh. It's probably about the same level. I actually think Atlanta had more to work with, but you get a quarterback that's
why I'm
willing
saying
to make
it's so
plays.
impressive.
Yeah. So,
Shout out Arthur Smith. I cited him as a reason why I thought the Steelers would be not as good this year as they were last year, but it looks like he's been a net positive for them so far.
yeah, I also think, when Justin Fields, there's not really the looming over him right now of, hey, they're definitely going to end up drafting a quarterback. You knew that they were going quarterback. Everybody and their mother knew that they were going for Caleb Williams in that draft. So it's like, now there's not as much pressure. Like, if I lose my job, I lose it to Russell Wilson, for crying out loud. Not some no-name kid. Like, for one, I think I could sleep better at night if I'm going to lose my job. It's going to be to a legend of the game, who obviously isn't in the prime of his career anymore, but can still offer not only to teach me, but, steady a ship if it got rocky. But the fact of the matter is, he went down with an injury. They gave me a chance, and they're still rolling with me. I got to have all the confidence in the world.
How about Kansas City and the Chargers? Kansas City escaped with a win, but they lost Rashee Rice in the process. Now down two receivers on the season.
Patrick Mahomes' fault.
Yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
Yeah, dude, what are you doing? This is why we don't tackle like little girl. Like, I don't want to say little girls. That's just trash tackling. All right, that's like you're being a baby. I've seen defensive backs do it for years. It's really the first time I've ever seen a quarterback try to do it. Normally, a quarterback just doesn't even want to take the hit. But if you're gonna try and come and make a tackle, first off, just go in. You're a quarterback. You of all people who are not allowed to be hit down low at some points over the years, and even now. You can have a flag at any moment. You don't want to get injured, right? You don't want guys coming in on. If somebody attempted that tackle on Patrick Mahomes, if he was running on the sideline, the entire league would be in uproar. For him to try and attempt that tackle, it's not only Bush League. You deserve the outcome that came. I'm just sorry that it had to be somebody else getting injured at your expense. That's Bush League tackling. Be better. And if you're going to tackle like that, don't even try to make the play, buddy, because you're going to get somebody hurt. Congratulations, you just lost your wide receiver for the entire season because you decided to be a bum on a play. Horrible. I hated it.
The only part I agree with you on there is don't even bother trying to make the tackle.
Sure.
I understand you calling it Bush League. I understand I know you said little girl. It's kind of just like bitch made. You know what I mean? Just throwing your back into. But as a quarterback, if you throw an interception, you feel some responsibility there. You're gonna go try and make the tackle.
Then go tackle.
You're not gonna go wrap him up because you're a quarterback, dude. You're trying to protect your shoulders and your arms. If a quarterback's trying to make a tackle, that's the tackle he's trying to make. That's not the first time I've seen a quarterback lay down and throw his back into somebody like that. I've seen it a couple times. It was just bad luck. It's just bad luck.
First and foremost, it's not bad luck. That happens all the time, especially when you go that low with it. Okay? Happens all the time at all levels. I've had a good friend in high school who literally went down to a similar tackle. It just so happened to be a defensive back when it happened. Okay? So here's my problem with it. This is not how, that should be a flag every single time. That's not a legitimate tackle. It's a dangerous play that we've seen for years literally injure people. And you talk about, yes, they don't want to hurt their throwing shoulder. I get that. That's why you have the other shoulder. You could use that. You could use your hands and just, hey, guess what, buddy? He's by the sideline. Just push him out. Okay, if you're gonna try and make a play, there's either don't make the play at all. You never at all have to do that. You have options. Okay, he chose to choose the worst possible one, and if somebody even attempted to tackle him like that, there'd be a fight on the sidelines.
All right, I'll defer to you on that one. Regardless, though, Rashee Rice is not confirmed to have torn an ACL yet or not. It's been kind of weird the last few days. He's gotten. The initial MRI was inconclusive. They went and got a second opinion. but there has been no definitive Rashee Rice is out for the season with the torn ACL. And from what I've read from former sports doctors and guys who have their own blogs online is that no definitive news is good news. So maybe Rashee Rice isn't going to be lost for the season. Maybe he comes back towards the end late, kind of like Hollywood Brown is projected to as well. But either way, the Chiefs, they might be 4-0, but they need to make some moves. They need to trade for a new receiver. 100%.
Yeah, I'm just honestly, I hope Rice is good. That's not his fault. He was just in the wrong place. Well, the right place at the wrong time, trying to make a tackle. You know, I'm so mad about that. Like, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is a dirty player. I just think that was just the worst effort I've ever seen, and that is just such a dangerous play. I'm pissed off about it because it never needed to happen, and it is karma that it ended up being one of your guys getting hurt. Because if it was the opposing guy getting hurt, I'd hate you even more. You know, but nonetheless, the elephant in the room is that the Chiefs are a 4-0 team, as you said, and they do need help. Travis Kelce hasn't really been doing much. There is, who do you have now?
Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore. Yeah, that's not great.
You got to go make a trade for a wide receiver. If I'm the league, though, I'm not trading with you. I'm not doing it. You guys are looking to go for a three-peat. I'm sick of seeing you win. You're not getting my guy. I'll go send him anywhere but. If the Raiders aren't going to trade him Devontae, that's for sure.
That's for damn sure.
Okay.
I could see Cleveland trading them Amari Cooper, though.
I could absolutely see that happening, right? They're not going to carry just because it's AFC. Like, they're not in division. Yeah, they might absolutely do that. But if I'm Cleveland, I'm not doing it. If I'm anybody in the league, I'm not trading with you right now. Not until I make sure that three-peat is dead just for being spiteful. I'm not contributing to it, okay? Because you guys win games when our rosters have more on it. You're that good. I don't need to help you.
Yeah, besides Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams, there aren't a whole lot of names out there where you can just point to that and say, hey, that looks like a name you can circle and fit in right there. I mean,
DeAndre Hopkins is another one I think could be up there, but do you really want to go and get a 34-year-old wide receiver?
Can I pitch you something real quick?
Sure.
Let's fast forward to the end of October.
Yep.
The Dolphins are circling the drain. 2-6, 2-5. Do you consider trading Tyreek Hill back to the Chiefs if they can call in for him?
Absolutely not. No. Never. It's not happening. He's ours. He's great. We want him. The only reason why we can't use him is because we don't have a quarterback. But guess what? We got a draft that can get us right back into it because there's some serious arm talent coming out of college football this year. All right, I'm looking at Cam Ward. I'm looking at Quinn Ewers. I'm looking at Shador Sanders. I'm looking at Jackson Dart. There are names. Even worst case scenario for me, you go and get a Carson Beck. There are guys that could absolutely be useful throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill. I'm not thinking about trading him at all because I literally just need to get a quarterback, and I should be okay.
All right. It was just a hypothetical. Who even knows how the Dolphins season is this time next month? So we'll have to wait and see on that. And some other teams, maybe if they end up having to sell off some pieces. Hopkins, I could totally that's like not crazy unreasonable because they have Calvin Ridley. They have Treylon Burks there still. DeAndre Hopkins could be a name to watch for
my apologies, 32 years old.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
But he's not what he used to be. That's for sure.
That's definitely not. But he could still act as your wide receiver one in an offense. I think.
If you put him with Patrick Mahomes though, and the Chiefs, yeah, he could absolutely get back to, dare I even say, his Houston Texan days.
Maybe.
You know, because that, like, think about it. Like, it's going to be the best ball that he's ever seen in his life. It's going to be in perfect positions. He's still athletic. He's still, in terms of like control, like. I always like to say that, like, whenever, like, receivers that are, like, elite, they have the ability to slow down time. He could still do that. It's just he can't go up on two guys anymore and come down with it like he used to be able to. But if that ball is put in a perfect position, yeah, he could absolutely make the play on it.
What about Buffalo and Baltimore, Mazz? Did you watch that game?
Dude, that was the most scariest rushing I've ever seen since they played the Cowboys.
I was so
They're
disappointed.
just great at it.
I was so disappointed because I was really looking forward to a really good football game, like one score all the way down to the end. Like whoever has the ball last is going to win. And then Derrick Henry took off on the Ravens' first offensive play and just took it for an 86-yard touchdown. And I was like, oh, here we go.
I will say, though, the internet was up in arms saying that there was a lot of holding penalties, and there kind of was, but, like, yeah, like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not even mad at it. Derrick Henry is insane. I mean, dude, for his age, still trucking along, like, this is absolutely... Everybody's, like, telling me, oh, Derrick Henry's going to slow down. It's not going to be the same. Dude, what are you talking about? This guy's a beast. He proved it again. I mean, dude, he legitimately looked like the fastest player on that field that night.
He really did, and just another monster game from him, and also just showing just how important the running back position is. I mean, I know the Ravens' offense is centered around the run game with Lamar and with those running backs, but this was such in the grand scheme of off-season transactions, this was such a small move. A 2-year, $16 million contract to Derrick Henry, and it's taken the Ravens into another gear. They were the number 1 seed in the AFC last year, and they look like a better team this year through 4 games just with the addition of Derrick Henry. And they lost guys. They lost coaches. They lost players, and they look better.
I think quality coaches.
I know the Ravens are 2-2 right now, but I think they're the team to beat in the AFC right now. And I know they lost to the Chiefs, but they lost to a Chiefs team that doesn't exist anymore because of what they've lost as well.
Oh, that's a hell of a point you make, and yeah, I think Buffalo's gonna be making some noise still. Josh Allen really is that good, dude. I mean, really nothing working with a rookie wide receiver, his first option wide receiver. Is not a marquee name. He's making him to be a bigger player in Shakur, right? I'm sorry, man. I still have faith, I think, in Josh Allen, even though I did not think I was going to. I was bashing the Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to come out and compete. I think the Bengals are going to come out and compete, too, because T. Higgins is back, right? But the fact of the matter, and I'll give you your flowers. You were right. You're absolutely right. But I'm still standing by. I started the season with the Ravens are my team to beat. I don't care that they're 2-2. I think you're absolutely right. They're coming for it. And how do you stop it? Even if you shut down the running game, you go to a passing game that might not be the most prolific passing game, but when you have Lamar Jackson, you have options to take off and run. He doesn't even have to hit the little, why would I hit the flat for 5 yards when I can just take off for 10? That's a direct quote from him. That's literally what he's capable of doing. Everywhere you look, even where they're deficient, there's a backup plan for it.
All in all this to say, Baltimore is the team to beat in the AFC. Buffalo, I still think they got some things to work out. Everyone was ready to crown them the number 1 team in the NFL after they blew out the Jaguars last week, and here they are. They come back down to earth the week after when they actually played the cream of the crop in the AFC.
It's hard going to Baltimore, man. That's for sure.
It's tough.
Oh, yeah, no. But, hey, we got another week of football, another week of pick'ems, and I got 4 games on you, baby. Let's get to it.
So, Mazz, before we get into this weekend's slate of games real quick, I want to get to some non-football news, just a little break from your regularly scheduled programming. 2 things first. Yesterday, we had two all-time greats pass away. Dikembe Mutombo passed away due to brain cancer, one of the all-time great shot blockers in the NBA. Mr. No, not today. Shout out Mr. Dikembe. Rest easy. And, of course, one of the best baseball players of all time, Pete Rose, passed away as well. A guy who should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, is not. And also I found out yesterday was a mentor to my Uncle Peter when he was coming up playing baseball for Montclair State. He was a good friend of my grandfather. I had no idea until yesterday. So
that's wild,
isn't it? I was like, "What are you talking about, Mom?" And then here, ready?
You got a text?
This is my Uncle Peter and Pete Rose. It's tough to see on the phone. That's my Uncle Peter. That's Pete Rose right there. Wow. So shout out Mr. Rose. Shout out Mr. Mutombo.
Yeah, dude, that is it's so heartbreaking that, like, you know, it's a part of life. but like it's never easy.
No.
And it's never like you want to try and celebrate them like as much as you can, but the fact of the matter is that like it's heartbreaking, dude. And it's I don't know, man. It's always just like rough, especially like, you know, you hear about like Mutombo with like battling brain cancer, for crying out loud. I can't even imagine what he was going through, what his family's been going through. You know, like that's rough, man, for sure. But two of the all-time greats, I mean, countless moments for people of fans of those sports that like I have good memories of Mutombo just from being really young. Everybody forgets he won a DPOY with that Allen Iverson team, you know?
Yeah, he was on that finals team that got swept by the Lakers, right? Or they gentlemen swept.
Yeah. You know, other than that though, like I'm not gonna say like I don't have much memories like outside of that. Like that's my first memory of like watching sports is like really that finals of watching with like Allen Iverson, and for all I know, dude, that could possibly be a false memory. I just remember ESPN, the way that they covered LeBron on Miami. That's how they were covering Shaq and Kobe when I was a kid. That's why I became a Lakers fan. You know, and then you talk about Charlie Hustle. I don't have memories like that of Pete Rose. You know, way before my time.
Way before our time.
But like just looking back at the legacy and the career, the fact that that man passed away without being in the Hall of Fame is an absolute travesty. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Dikembe Mutombo's in the NBA Hall of Fame.
I'm not sure as well.
Dude, like, you know, you're looking at Mutombo, an 8-time All-Star, you know, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Come on, dude. 3-time All-NBA First Team, which is hilarious, even though he's a 4-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, but only 3 first teams. Numbers retired with the Atlanta Hawks and the Denver Nuggets. How is this guy not in the Hall of Fame? I know the controversy with Charlie Hustle, and I don't agree with it at all. But I think the fact that those guys passed away without having their legacies truly getting that capstone on it, I think is an absolute travesty, and we need to be better. I don't care if he gambled on games. There's no proof that he gambled against his own teams. If he bet on himself, I don't even have a problem with that. But if you gambled against your team, then I think that you're throwing games. Then I have a problem with that. And Mutombo, for crying out loud, there's other facets to the game besides scoring points and getting assists and just offense. Can we please give defensive players a highlight?
Shout out both those guys, as I said, 2 of the best in their sports of all time. And then the one other thing I wanted to get to real quick, I just wanted to touch on the Karl Anthony-Towns to the Knicks trade because, Mazz, when this came through my phone Friday night, I was heated at first. And I'm still kind of heated about it because as exciting as a trade as it is with Karl Anthony-Towns, I don't know how well he fits on this Knicks team. I hate calling professional athletes soft because they're professional athletes and they compete at the best of their ability every night in, night out. But Cat has that soft label. He's a 7-footer who likes to play outside the 3-point line. He doesn't like to play inside. He doesn't really like to bang it down low, get rebounds. He's a bit more of a finesse player. And I think what the Knicks need is a bit more, especially at the center position, they need some more toughness. Now, Mitchell Robinson's going to be back. We don't know exactly when. I think the projection as of right now is December. But Karl Anthony-Towns slides in as this team starting center. The Knicks say goodbye to a longtime piece, a guy who kickstarted this new era of Knicks basketball, and Julius Randle, who me and him had our disagreements on his style of play, but towards the end, I really had a really nice, big appreciation for Mr. Randle. And then, of course, Dante DiVincenzo got shipped out as well in that deal. The fourth piece of the Nova Knicks quartet isn't even going to play a single second with Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, and Josh Hart. A guy who led the Knicks in three-point shooting last year, broke the Knicks in-season three-point record, and also had a miraculous Game 2 winner against the Sixers. I'm going to miss both those guys. Cat comes in. I love the Knicks starting 5. I do. The trade, I don't know. I don't 100% know how I feel about it, but that's the same way I felt when the Knicks traded for OG Anunoby. Turned out really great. And it's also how I felt when the Knicks traded Obi Toppin for the cap space to sign Dante DiVincenzo. So I trust Leon Rose in the Knicks front office. I'm emotional about it, Mazz. So help me out here.
Well, first off, if there's anybody that can make a player tough, I think it's Tom Thibodeau. So I do have faith on that front. Friday night, I'm sitting there watching actually the Vince McMahon documentary with Kiara and her dad and stepmother, right? And the entire time, though, I'm thinking, oh, man, this Miami University game's going on. I'm actually trying to see if Cam Ward can come back and hopefully not get upset by Virginia Tech. Real quick, let me take it down a side road on that one. Not a catch. You got to complete it all the way. All right, yes, the guy had it in the air, but when he came down, he did not have possession. Good call. Miami wins. Thank you. Keep it moving. Shout out Cam Ward. That trade comes in. We literally had to pause the documentary and talk about it for a second because her dad's a Knicks grew up a Michael Jordan guy, big Michael Jordan guy, but he works in New York, raised in New York. He does appreciate the Knicks, especially. I mean, like he works for Anheuser-Busch, man. The Knicks are winning, business is booming in the city, So always keeping the tabs on them. And anybody that's been in New York has fell in love with this Knicks team. So they're all in, even if you weren't a fan in previous years, you're a fan now because the style of basketball that they bring, it's New York basketball. And I do have the same reservations of, is Cat going to, quite honestly get chewed up? I don't think it's going to happen. Let's be honest. Cat is probably the second most talented center in the NBA. I think that he's more skilled than Joel Embiid. I just think that Joel has a greater will to want to be great when he's healthy. Jokic by far the best center in the NBA, and I'm going to even have to concede on that one at this point. And I mean, the guy's just so good, and I hate it. But good for him. Cat, there's always been something there. I think there has always been a mentality problem. When Jimmy Butler was back there, him and Andrew Wiggins getting called out. But the fact of the matter is, Andrew Wiggins has went on to win a championship. Cat, I think, has turned the page with Anthony Edwards coming over. The fact of the matter is this: Cat still is not the biggest star on this team, does not have to be the number one option, and I think I could take light in knowing that if this is still Jalen Brunson's team, Jalen Brunson is not going to shy away from the big moment. So I don't have to feel that pressure as much if I'm Cat. I think that's going to help him. They also just got Mikal Bridges, who I actually think could be the number 2 on this team if Cat's going to, falter off a little bit. I do think that Cat is the second option looking at skill sets, but Mikal can be elevated to that. And this is an entire team where if you do not buy in, not only is the city not only is the city going to let you know about it, not only is the coaching staff going to let you know about it, that locker room's going to let you know about it. So this is literally survival of the fittest. I think he will adapt, and I think it's going to be just fine. I love Julius Randle. I've loved Julius Randle since he's gotten to the Knicks. He resurged his career going to New Orleans. And you hit the nail on the head, buddy. He did restart this. He has Knicks fans for once in such a long time being like, oh my God, we could actually do something since Carmelo Anthony's scoring title, right? And it is a perfect storm. If there's anybody that I trust in basketball, first and foremost, it's Pat Riley. Second most, it's probably Steve Kerr. And third most, it has to be Leon Rose. That's just what it comes down to. And when I say Pat Riley, you can put Eric Spoelstra, them together. It's just perfect magic. Gotcha. But Leon Rose is absolutely the guy. We looked at moves all the time and be like, what is he doing? And it continues to work out. I'm not going to lie, though. I did not like that Dante was a part of that package. I would have liked to seen Josh Hart before. Honestly, I would have went with Deuce McBride if they could have got that deal done first. Then I would have been willing to give up Josh Hart, just because I do think that Mikal Bridges can do everything that Josh Hart does. Who is shooting threes like Dante DiVincenzo for this team? I mean, that guy is clutch X factor at its finest. I do worry about that, but you know what? They made a move to go get a big name who puts up big stat lines, and I don't hate it. Also, this guy was just in a Western Conference final, so I don't hate it.
Yeah, the one thing you can't deny is the Knicks spacing is going to be incredible. That's been one of the biggest problems for them the last few seasons. Where Jalen Brunson's a threat from the 3-point line, but he doesn't want to shoot the three. He wants to get in the paint. When the Knicks had R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson out on the floor at the same time, opposing teams and opposing defenses knew that the Knicks weren't looking for the three ball. They were looking to get it down low. And all these moves that the Knicks have made this summer so far and leading up to this season, it's going to be incredible. Jalen Brunson can shoot the three ball. Mikal Bridges, a great three-point shooter. Karl Anthony-Towns, the best three-point big man in the NBA. I think he had over 40% last season, minus the playoffs. But I mean, everyone's percentage goes down in the playoffs. When it comes to this Knicks team, I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like come playoff time because barring health and barring no more trades, this roster is deep. This roster is loaded. They got a shot to take down Boston, man. They really do. And I honestly, I'm almost more excited for the Knicks this season than I was for the Jets going into this season. If you can even believe that.
Hold on one sec. I got the dog crying.
All good. We haven't touched on basketball in a while, Mazz. I'm glad we got a little.
I got more news for you.
Yeah.
I got rumors right now.
Rumors.
Apparently, Pat Riley is sick of Jimmy Butler. And apparently, that could be a piece that they finally hit that we're going to start the rebuild, and they could ship out their main guy. I don't know how you could be sick of Jimmy Butler because that is a guy that is absolutely looking to compete, looking to win, and does not give a damn about anything else but having success. And let's be honest, though, I don't think Miami has made the best moves necessarily to help them. I think they botched not going to get a Damian Lillard. I think the fact that their willingness to stick with Tyler Hero kind of has hurt them. Not that Tyler Hero is a bad player. He's great on offense, but you need more, especially when he's not going to be playing the best defense. You know, I truly would love to see Jimmy get traded to a contender. I would love the Lakers to go get him. We're already old. Why not? I mean, go get somebody that's going to absolutely will you to championship or die on that court trying. You know, absolutely helps with the defense, can score, will take on the best player and not think twice about it. I would love to see that. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know why the Golden State Warriors are going to go get a Jimmy Butler if he's truly on the block.
That would be an interesting acquisition, and also kind of fitting into the like you said with the Lakers, kind of fitting into the age timeline where everyone's a little past their prime, but we're still working on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's gone back a little, like a few months now with Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley. I know at the end of last season, Jimmy didn't even play in that first round series against Boston because he was injured. And he was still talking smack on social media to the Celtics. You know, when the Heat picked up one in Game 2 against Boston, he said, "Don't let us get one more." And then in the exiting press conferences with Pat Riley and the Heat media, he was asked about, hey, what do you think about Jimmy? Still poking the bear, still talking some smack, even though he's not playing. And Pat Riley said, "Well, I think if he's not playing, he should keep his mouth shut." So I think there's been some friction there for at least the last year or so. I don't know if the Heat are gonna trade Jimmy midseason. I think that would depend on how their season's looking at the trade deadline. If they're if they're currently in position to have a top 6 seed in the East, they're not going to trade him. If they're on the outside looking in, I could see them trading him. I don't even think at this point that Jimmy Butler even is the Miami franchise player. I would say that belongs to Bam Adebayo.
Well, if that's how you truly feel, right? Trade him before the season. Go all in on it the other way. What's the point of wasting any time on this? You do not have the firepower to go up against the Knicks, to go up against the Boston right now. Yes, you've taken down Boston in the past, but they didn't have a Kristaps Porzingis when that happened, did they? No. Thank you. This is a whole new beast, both sides that you're dealing with, and you're clearly the odd man out in this. So if you're not going to go make a big trade, which they're not going to, they had their chances. They missed those windows, right? You already have the friction. You already want to start moving with Bam as your number one guy. Go get something for Jimmy before it's too late. And what I mean by too late, whether that's the contract running out or just him aging out, like he is towards the twilight of the career, man.
In the last year of his contract, yeah, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season.
Thank you. Go get something for it. Don't lose out on it. And I'm just thinking Lakers, not because I'm a Lakers fan. I'd love to have them. They were in on the DeMar DeRozan spectacular spectacle. On the DeMar DeRozan spectacle that ended up with him going to the Kings of Sacramento, right? So I don't see why you wouldn't be in on that, but I definitely think Jimmy's going to be leaving Miami, and I definitely think it's going to be to a West Coast team.
Yeah, I doubt they'd want to see him at any point in the Eastern Conference because Jimmy's got a habit of sticking it to his old teams. You could say that for sure. But
dude, basketball season right around the corner,
dude,
man.
I said earlier, the Jets have like gotten me like I'm like a scared dog. Like whenever they play, it's like they're raising their hand up at me and I'm like cowering in the corner. I'm excited to watch the Knicks. I'm so excited to see them play. I've missed them so much. Dude,
honestly, all your teams are kind of like not the worst case. I mean, it's got to be fun being that Jets, Knicks, Mets guy right now, huh?
Yeah, I mean, as lowly as the Jets were this past weekend, I'm still excited to see them the rest of the season. Mets kick off their wild card series today, I think at like 5:30-ish, and then the Knicks hoping to be another top seed in the East this year. Feeling good about my teams right now.
Definitely should be interesting, my friend.
But Mazz, what do you say we get to we get to week 5? Week 5 already, man. This season's going by too fast.
Just flying. But you know what? I'm here for it. Thursday night game, baby. Getting after it. We're heading back to Atlanta. The Buccaneers are in town, and the Buccaneers are going to raid the shores of Atlanta. That's not even a thing because they were in the middle of the state, but it sounded good, and I liked it. Just know Baker Mayfield coming to town. I'm expecting another big game from him. Yes, there is a better defense in Atlanta right now, especially in that secondary, than there is for Philly. But I still think that Baker has the talent and the will to get the job done because he's got Mike Evans, he's got Chris Godwin, and he just pulled up a hell of a performance. I think that Detroit is a good comparison to what they're going to see. They're going to be playing in a dome, on turf, against a good defense and a pretty good offense. I think it's the exact same storm. I counted them out against Detroit. They said, Mazz, shut up and hold my beer, and they're going to do it again.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with you there. I just think Tampa Bay's playing at a higher level than the Falcons right now. Not that the Falcons aren't playing good football. They look like a good team right now, but the offense couldn't really move the ball too much on Sunday. They didn't score any touchdowns. I think it was 2 defensive touchdowns, or 1 defensive touchdown, 1 special teams touchdown, and then the rest were field goals from Young Hui Koo. So Tampa Bay's scoring touchdowns right now. So how can you not ride the hot hand? Taking Baker, taking Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Bucks getting a division lead here against with back-to-back wins over they didn't play a division opponent yet. They're going to get a division win here against the Atlanta Falcons.
-1.5 favorites for the Falcons.
Yeah, I like the Bucks there still.
I love the Bucks here still.
Also, I've been forced to watch too many Atlanta Falcon games so far this year. I don't understand. They don't need to be in prime time this much. Come on. But going to Sunday, we're crossing the Atlantic Ocean, Mazz, for the first time this season. The 2-2 New York Jets face the 4-0 Minnesota Vikings. Their old quarterback, Sam Darnold, is looking to stick it to them. Who you got?
Sam Darnold's going to stick it to him. That's just the fact of the matter. That's just what is going to happen, dude. I mean, this guy is rolling. There's absolutely no reason for me not to believe that's going to happen. He took down San Francisco just as good of, if not better, a defense than what the Jets are going to be putting out. Yes, they are crossing the ocean. Yes, they are going to play in London. There is a little bit of adversity there, but I'm sorry. There was a little bit of adversity when there was a rain game at home at MetLife, and the Jets crumbled. All right? I have more faith in these Vikings, and I think they get the job done.
Yeah, I got the Jets bouncing back and picking up a win against the Minnesota Vikings.
I will do it.
I know they're undefeated, but they're not perfect. They almost blew the game on Sunday to the Packers. Not that Sam Darnold isn't playing great football, but I'm not 100% sold on the Vikings just yet. It's been too small of a sample size. This is going to be a game for them where the litmus test is obviously this Jets defense, which they can't stop the run for shit, but they're sure as hell going to shut your passing game down. So It's going to be a very interesting to see what Kevin O'Connell game plans here for the Jets. And I'm a little concerned about the defense for the Vikings because the Broncos are the number one blitzing team in the NFL, and the Jets' offensive line was not able to handle it very well. Guess who number 2 is? The Minnesota Vikings. So I'm banking on the fact that the Jets are gonna prepare and really focus in on trying to defend those heavy blitzes from Brian Flores. I think Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers finally get on the same page. Garrett Wilson torched the Vikings 2 years ago when they were in Minnesota with Michael White at quarterback. So, yeah, give me the Jets, man. I think we're gonna pick up a winning in London. I think this is a trap game for the Vikings. Like everyone's like, oh, they're undefeated. They're gonna roll past the Jets. Mm-mm.
This is a trap game for the Jets. What do you mean? They're feeling all the pressure.
No, it's other way around.
Nope. We just lost to the damn Denver Broncos by a point where we couldn't score a touchdown, for crying out loud. Everybody's on a hot seat. The city is pissed. The city's going to continue to be pissed. Let me ask you a question right now, right? Fantasy draft, we're taking coaches. Kevin O'Connell, Robert Saleh.
Oh, dude, come on. That's not even close.
Kevin O'Connell.
But Jets roster, Vikings roster.
Who's been playing the hard? They beat the 49ers. You didn't, my friend. That's all I'm saying.
The Vikings own the 49ers.
And they're going to own the Jets too, baby.
I can't wait to pick one up here. I got a really good feeling about the Jets.
You know what the best part about this entire thing is? I can afford to take this loss even if it comes that way. Yeah. I love it.
All right,
some fun here.
On to the 1 o'clock slate. The Cleveland Browns are heading to Washington to face the red-hot Commanders. It's pretty easy one, Mazz.
No trap game. I don't even want to hear about it. Defense for the Commanders is in a better shape than the Raiders' defense was when they just played. There's a more high-powered offense that the Commanders are bringing out, and a rookie quarterback that is playing with so much swagger and seeing the field with 40-40 vision right now. Maybe not throwing touchdowns, but is still making play after play, whether that's with the legs, with the arm. He's looking good. I'm rocking with Jaden Daniels. I'm rocking with the Commanders. Dan Quinn has DC football back on the map.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Washington's going to win this game as well. Washington's biggest weakness on defense is their secondary, and what is the worst part of the Browns' offense? Their passing game. So they're not going to be able to take advantage of that of right there, and I just think, Washington's going to be able to control the clock, run the ball on the Browns, and if the Commanders win this game, they're 4-1. Going into week 6, that would be quite the start for them. I mean, when's the last time they did that, right?
Oh man, it hurts so bad. Good for them, dude.
Good for them. Going on to Baltimore at Cincinnati, one of the first AFC North matchups we've seen so far this year. Cincinnati always tends to have a tough time with division opponents. I think I'm leaning Baltimore in this one.
I'm also leaning Baltimore just for the fact of you run Henry until the wheels come off, and then it's time for Lamar Jackson. It's so overpowering. I do think that the Bengals are going to struggle a little bit with that secondary. They're going to be looking to throw that ball. And the Ravens prove that doesn't matter who it is. Could be Dak Prescott, could be Josh Allen. We're going to punch you right in the face. And now they are – the biggest problem with them is not that they weren't starting off hot. It was closing out games. And I think each week they're going to get better at closing out these games. They're still going to continue to start hot. Give me Baltimore.
All right, so both of us on Baltimore there. Moving on to another great 1 o'clock game. We got Buffalo heading to Houston. Texans-Bills. That's a toughie. But I think I lean Bills in that one in a get-back game after that embarrassing performance Sunday night in Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm actually with you. I would like to take the Texans here for being home, but I just think that Josh Allen is absolutely going to be livid after what just went down in Baltimore. I think he's going to be coming back with a vengeance. They're so hard to game plan for something like that, and I do think that Stephon Diggs is going to be having revenge on his mind.
Oh, I didn't even the Stephon Diggs revenge game.
But, however, I do think that the Bills might be able to push his buttons in the right direction for them. Maybe get him a little bit out of character, We'll see what happens. Yeah, I definitely, whenever you go into a war, emotion can take you a long way, but strategic thinking takes you even further, and I think the Bills are going to be strategic about this one. And I know Stephon Diggs is going to be emotional about this one. So, yeah, I got to go the other way, man.
All right, so
Bills.
both of us on Buffalo there. Moving on to Carolina Panthers headed to Chicago to take on the Bears. This was supposed to be the Bryce Young, Caleb Williams game, but obviously Bryce Young is not the starting quarterback for the Panthers anymore. But Chicago favored here at home to this Panthers team that had a very, very uppity win against the Raiders 2 weeks ago, and then a tough loss to the Bengals on Sunday. Mazz, which way are you leaning?
Dude, I absolutely hate this right now.
It's a tough game. It's a tough pick.
I really do not like this whatsoever. But the fact of the matter is, I think I got to rock with the Bears and Caleb Williams on this one. I don't have faith in this Panthers. I know Andy Dalton's looking good. I know Deontay Johnson's looking pretty good. But, Chicago, whether they're horrible or whether they're mediocre, because they're not going to be great these years, even though I expected them to be great, still not working out. It's a hard place to play, man. They're passionate fans. This isn't going to be your road game, but the Panthers have more fans because I can't even tell you that I know one Panthers fan in my life. This is going to be a true road game. I think it's going to be hard, and I think the Bears are going to just pull it out probably at the last second. I'm looking at like a 24-21 victory, last-second field goal.
I also like a Bears win here. I think the best part of their team so far this year has been their defense. And I think offensively they'll be able to do just enough against the Panthers defense that just lost their middle linebacker, Shaq Thompson, for the season on an Achilles tear. I'm taking the Bears at home as well. I think defense is going to win them the game, and offensively they'll be able to do just enough to, like you said, Mazz, I could see a last-second field goal or something like that, but that remains to be seen, obviously. Colts heading down to northern Florida, Jacksonville Jaguars, 0-4, the last winless team in the NFL. Mazz, I'm picking them to pick up their first win here on the season against the Colts.
I hate that you did that because I literally just did the same thing. They're a -2.5 favorite. At some point, they have to win a game.
Yeah,
right?
It
just has to happen. Like if you're Doug Peterson, you're dodging questions about being on the hot seat. You need to come out and make a statement. You not need to only win. You need to be almost dominant in this game. I don't think they're going to be dominant, but I do think that they're going to do enough to win. Anthony Richardson, shake it up last week. Don't even know if he's going to end up starting. I think the Jags are quite literally playing for their lives when it comes to their head coach's job. And I think he's going to do enough to pull this out. Doug Peterson's going to live for another week as head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At least one more week. At least one.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Anything past this week, I don't have faith. I could see it. I could see the axe coming down at any second.
How about Miami at New England? AFC East matchup. I'm leaning New England at home just because how Miami has looked these past 2 weeks without Tua. Just they look like the Jets last year offensively. First downs are like pushing out a kidney stone. You know what I mean? Like it's horrendous. I thought maybe Tyler Huntley would be a bit of an upgrade over Tim Boyle and Skylar Thompson. No. They still can't find a way to get Tyreek the ball. They can't run the ball. Jalen Waddle's missing. New England's terrible, and I'm going with them at home.
They got a good defense, and that's what I'm rocking with.
Yeah.
And they're home. There's nothing that the Dolphins, maybe their head coach, goes on a little ayahuasca retreat, comes out and finds the identity that he was looking for in that Tennessee game. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think that, again, it's going to be another week where they're going to be frustrated. And they honestly should think about calling a veteran or start building for that draft and scouting what QB that they like. Because it's time to get a new quarterback in Miami.
Is it time for Ryan Tannehill to come home?
I'd make the call. Why not? What else? If you're trying to compete, what else do you have to lose?
He's sitting on the couch right now. Why not, right?
It's not like he's never played in the city before.
All right, another divisional matchup out west, NFC West. Arizona Cardinals at San Francisco 49ers. I'm leaning San Fran, Mazz, but I do like the Cardinals spread here. I think they could be within a touchdown on the banged up Niners.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than people want to talk about, but the fact of the matter is that the 49ers are just a really damn good franchise. I owe them an apology. I think I said that they were 0-3, and they weren't. They were 1-2 at the time, but they're going to be rolling. They're going to be finding ways to win games, even with all the injuries piling up. And Brock Purdy's been playing some good football. You know, he made my top 5, 6, and 7 lists. Because I completely forgot about Baker Mayfield. But the fact of the matter is, he's within that upper echelon with how guys are playing right now, and I have no reason to believe that he's not going to do the same thing. So as much as I'm hoping for my fantasy team that Kyler Murray balls out and Marvin Harrison balls out, the fact of that matter remains, even if they do, I don't think it's going to be enough. Give me the Niners.
All right, up next, 2 AFC West teams who are just trying to stay relevant. Las Vegas Raiders at Denver Broncos. Your mic's muted.
My bad. Rookie mistake. Listen, the Denver Broncos are road warriors, and if this was a road game, I'd probably rock with them. But there's no reason to trust them at home. And I know that there's injuries with the Raiders, but and don't get me wrong, I think Sean Payton is the better coach, but I think Antonio Pierce still means business, baby. I think that they're coming to Denver. I think they're going to punch him right in the mouth, and then they're going to end up crumbling. This is going to be an absolute awful game, and I think the Denver Broncos is going to win at the last second.
You really had me in the first half there. I really thought you were going to pick the Raiders.
Dude, there's no way that they could get the job done with that roster again. Come on. I mean,
No way.
Dude, Denver just took it to a really good Jets team, for crying out loud.
And
they
really
made
good
that game
Bucks
ugly.
team the week before.
Yeah, dude, they are winning ugly football games, for crying out loud, and this is definitely gonna get ugly. And I think Sean Payton has the game plan to get the win, dude. I want the Raiders to win. I like Antonio Pierce so much, but I just can't go against the Broncos right now, dude. I really can't.
Yeah, coming off 2 wins, the way they've won one dominating victory and one like squeak it out win. I think it's tough to pick against the Broncos right now.
I just can't roll the dice on it, dude. I mean, it's the Raiders been hitting for me, but the luck's got to run out at some point, right? So I'm not gonna lie, I want to take them so bad. Like the gambler in me is like, oh come on, let's just throw it all on black one more time, But no, I have to throw it on orange right now.
I was gonna say quite literally throwing it on black. Maybe
Yeah,
you should.
yeah, it's
Maybe you
Raiders, they're
should.
black. So,
Maybe you should.
you'd like that. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
I would like that.
You would like that. But, I do have a 4-game cushion. I've only taken one gamble right now. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll switch up at the end of the episode.
We'll see. All right, we got 4 more games left here. 2 more in the 4 o'clock slate, and then the 2 primetime games. We got Green Bay at Los Angeles Rams. Mazz, Green Bay 3-point favorites on the road.
Yeah, they have to be. The Rams just have too much injuries. I'm rocking with Green Bay. Jordan Love, even though I gave a lot of flack I didn't think that he should play the game. He did throw 3 interceptions, but he also threw 4 touchdowns. He threw for over 300 yards. I think he's going to clean it up this week. Green Bay's going to win, and they're going to win in probably by 2 scores.
I don't know about 2 scores. I do like Green Bay in this game, though. They're healthier. They have more weapons at the moment because of the injuries to the Rams, and I think the Packer defense is playing at a higher level than the Rams defense right now. So I'm also leaning Green Bay in that one.
2 scores.
Another relatively easy one. I say 1 score. Maybe that'll be a little tiebreaker extra point thing we do there. Start calling spreads as well.
You gotta tie us up before we do that, baby.
All right, so Giants at Seattle Seahawks. Easy Seahawks.
Come on, buddy. You've been
Giants,
rocking with the Giants. This is the time they're gonna do it.
The Giants
you need to take the Giants.
They're not flying across the country and beating a Seahawks team that just got hosed by the refs last night in Detroit. Geno Smith is going to dice these guys up like it's nobody's business. DK Metcalf's going for 100 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba's going for 100 yards. Tyler Lockett's going to have 50 yards.
Stop.
It's gonna be a all Seattle show Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, I should say, in Washington.
You are underestimating this Giants defense, my friend.
What?
You're underestimating it.
They have the worst secondary in football.
No, they do not.
Yes, they do.
No, they do not. Stop
yes,
it.
they do.
I'm not buying it. but they're not beating Seattle. It's not happening. Ain't no way Jackson Smith and Jigba DK are going for over 100 and Tyler Hawkins getting 50. I'll put money on that right now. One of them is going to pop off. It's probably going to be DK. But I will say this. They're going to get run all over the place. Did you see that play by Kenneth
Walker
last night?
Which one?
He
made a couple.
There's only one. Did you see the Matrix or did you not see the Matrix?
When he got tackled and then flipped over the guy and kept running?
That was, first off, gets like rolled over, somehow keeps the feet, and then rolls forward and keeps on going. The coolest play I've seen all season that didn't end up a touchdown. It was so awesome. Yeah, dude, that guy's going to run all over the place. And even if they slow him down for a second, congratulations. Zach Charbonnet is coming right behind him and going to punch it right with an uppercut. I actually think the running game is going to be quite dominant for Seattle. I think Gino's going to do his thing, but watch out for that running game for me.
All right, so we're both leaning Seattle there.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one's a bit more tricky. We got Dallas and Pittsburgh.
You know, I was talking a lot of smack, and I gave a preview at the beginning of it, but I was just feeling a little frustrated, and I can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I know you're going to get a swing game on me. You can have those Pittsburgh Steelers. I just can't go against it. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh wins this game. They have a really good defense. Dallas's line is absolutely horrible. I don't know how they're going to stop TJ Watt, but I have to believe that they're going to find a way to get a win this week, because why would I go against them? Because those are my guys.
That's what it's the same way I can't pick against the Jets. I can't go Dallas.
If they lose this game, I can totally see it happening. I really should be taking the Pittsburgh Steelers at home right now, but the fact of the matter is I think Dak's going to have a better game than Justin Fields, and that's what I'm banking on. It's going to be just enough to get the win.
I don't disagree with that. I just think the Steelers defense is so good. Yep. That they're going to be able to do enough to slow Dak and the Cowboys offense down. And then the Cowboys defense, who is now missing their two best pass rushers, are not going to be able to do enough to slow down Justin Fields and that Steelers offense. I'm taking Pittsburgh. It's going to be a good game, though, I think. It's going to be like a low-scoring, like 17-20, 23-20 kind of game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just know that this is fully a game that I'm expecting for my 4-game lead to probably go down to a 3-game lead. But I don't care. I'm rocking with it. I'm rolling the dice. And I can't lose. If they lose, they lose. Like, it is what it is. I still got my cushion. If they win, I just get another leg up on you, and I get to talk about how they took down an elite defense. So
I mean,
I'm going to be unbearable regardless next week.
Fair is fair. You got the Vikings. I got the Jets. I got the Steelers. You got the Cowboys. But
yeah, I'm giving you a shot here.
One more game left. Monday Night Football, New Orleans at Kansas City. The Chiefs are going to be trying to figure out life without their two top receivers now. And the Saints, who started off as one of the hottest teams in football, scored 90 points through 2 games. Now coming off back-to-back losses, 2-2, going into Kansas City. Mazz, who you got?
I would love to sit here and tell you that I have the New Orleans Saints, that they're going to have a big bounce-back game, that they're going to figure it out. But the fact of the matter is Kansas City is banged up, but they're banged up on the right side of the ball. I still think that this offense is going to find a way to make things happen because Andy Reid is that guy, and Patrick Mahomes, quite literally, is the best quarterback in the NFL over the past, 10 seasons. Right? Just looking at it, yes, I know he hasn't been in the damn league for 10 years, but out of the 10 years, right, he's dominated the last 5 or 6?
Absolutely.
So, I know I said that Patrick Mahomes isn't a top 5 quarterback right this second. There's still a lot of season left to be played, and he's going to end up a top 5 quarterback because he always does. It's what he does. He's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they literally won a Super Bowl by throwing a ball to a guy who did nothing the entire season before he came back to Kansas City. And it wasn't his fault, but still, let's not act like that's a marquee name. They use guys the way that Bill Belichick used to use guys. You don't even know who they are. They're going to have a big impact, and somebody else is going to overpay them, and we might even get them back after you're done using them. They're going to continue to do that. I wouldn't even be surprised if this is the week that Travis Kelce really steps up, because Lord knows he really needs to for this team. But the fact of the matter is, you come to Arrowhead, you still have to face that tough of a defense, and I think the Chiefs get the job done.
With you there. You're never going to catch me picking against Patrick Mahomes, so I got the Chiefs as well. Yeah, Mazz, like you said, I think offensively they'll be able to do enough to score enough points to win because the Chiefs' defense is still the Chiefs' defense. They're still gonna lock you up, shut you down. They held the Chargers to 10 points. They held the Ravens to 21 points. It's a good defense, and Derek Carr is not that guy.
Not that guy.
Not that guy. All right, so that's week 5 for you guys. We only have 2 splits, and it's our teams. It's the Vikings Jets game and Steelers Cowboys. So even if I do get get both of those right, I'm cutting the deficit to 2. If you got both of them right, ooh, I don't even want to talk about it, man. You got 6 games on me. I'd be devastated.
You get 6 games. Just know, I'm letting you know right now. I'm playing it safe. I'm cruising. And I'm going to make you gamble. This is what I do. Relentless, ruthless aggression.
Well, we'll see. It's still week 5. Still week 5. So we got plenty of time before that.
Honestly, right? That goes the way that you don't want it to. How much are you sweating?
If what goes the way you don't want it to? Oh, this week?
6-game deficit. How much are you sweating?
Just like you said, I'm going to start sweating, and I'm going to have to start swinging for the fences. I'm going to have to just start picking games against you just to try and make up some ground because I know you'll be playing it safe every week. I definitely know you will be.
I like to win. What can I say? Yeah. I've been known to. I'm talking all the smack. I've been known to throw up a crazy softball every now and then. Let's see if you hit it out of the park just because I feel like taking a risk. I like to gamble, man.
Just the way Francisco Lindor hit it out of the park yesterday, giving the Mets a 1-run lead in Atlanta against the Braves. Mets Brewers at 5:30 today, if I'm not mistaken. Can't wait for that one.
I hope they don't even make it out of the wild card.
All right. Well, I hope the Yankees lose in the ALDS.
That's fine with me. It won't be the wild card. Dude, let's face it, dude. They're going to lose to Houston again. Good God.
Houston? They're in the playoffs too? But I thought are they a wild card team?
Yeah, they're going to make it, dude. They always make it.
Man, maybe we should have had Ant Cafone on this week.
You know what? We're going to have Ant next week for sure. I'll send the bat signal out to him. And we'll be talking a little baseball coming your way because playoffs matter, and I don't give a damn about 162 games. So now it's time to start caring about baseball again.
Hell yeah, man.
And then pretty soon, going to be getting Khalil back on, talking a little basketball. We got a couple of other guests I have in mind. Charlie, I might even surprise you and just start bringing new friends on the podcast every week and not even tell you.
You know what? I wouldn't even be mad about it. It sounds like it would just be make for some great podcasts. You know what I mean?
I got something in store. Don't you dare go anywhere. Like and subscribe. Follow us. You already know what it is. Spread the word of mouth. Grassroots podcast coming at you live. Mazz and Bads. Another episode in the books. I wish I could tell you what episode, but I've lost count. I think it's 14. 13? Down so far.
Wait, no. I think you might be right on 14.
Come on.
You have been listening to the Mazz and Bads Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.